Hello and welcome to today's video. I know I haven't been doing like YouTube videos for a while now due to many reasons, but mainly because I don't know, I feel like I've gone through a lot of different exotics and there wasn't like anything uniquely different about this season that I haven't already done. And when I tried to do all the new exotics, they just kept deactivating it. So I was just gonna leave it for when it is like actually balanced. But before I keep rambling on, I am actually gonna go through a season build video. So this is gonna be the pretty much like a loadout video to essentially show you like what I feel will be best in slot for your characters. This works on every character. I'm going to show this on my Titan because that's the one character I use the most. But again, it'll pretty much work on any character no matter what character that you're using. Obviously it'll work better for different characters, but it should pretty much fill every single role. So as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's useful and let's get into it, I guess. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna use my Titan. This is mainly because this is my main character, but depending on what you like, it can pretty much work for most other Titans or most other characters. I don't know why I'm saying Titan. Okay, so build wise, you can pretty much ignore the right side of the screen, mainly because, like I said, depending on what character you like, it could work for you. But for Titan mains, or for people that use Titans as much as me, I'll probably recommend this build. The reason why, it just allows you to kind of take care of like any ad that you want to kill as fast as possible. I use this build for the raid, so VOG, and I pretty much use this build in my general use, like Gambit or doing a strike, because it slaps. Okay, one thing you will notice is compared to every other build you've probably seen this season, I am not using Breach and Clear. Even though I'm using grenade launchers, I am not using Breach and Clear. I am using Energy Accelerator. Reason why: Breach and Clear works for everybody, no matter who applies the debuff. The only additional that you gain from using Breach and Clear on your own build is the help in terms of like a free reload. But Energy Accelerator is needed for this build because I am using Crown Splitter. For the people that do not know what Crown Splitter is right now, it's a Titan unique sword, which means no other character is able to use it. But Crown Splitter right now is best in slot for instant damage. And when I mean instant damage, it can out DPS pretty much every other weapon in the right situation. Right situation being you're able to survive with the target that you want to hit. Possibly that target is also on the ground because it is kind of the sword slams downwards. So you kind of need that target somewhat on the ground. Okay, let's start with the kinetic. Kinetic wise, I use my Fatebringer. Before the Vogue came out, Fatebringer has been my favorite hand cannon in D1, and since it came out, I do not use anything else apart from Fatebringer. I got two roles depending on my situation. My Firefly explosive payload role for general use. What I mean by that is any activity that it's currently at my level. So any activity that I do not actually have to put more damage, then this works. For activities that are above my level, so this would be like GM, or if I'm doing master level content right now, I'll use the Frenzy version. Reason why: Frenzy is a easy damage increase to my hand cannon. Firefly is only an explosion, like it's a Firefly, so I have to kill the target for it to work, and it's not gonna essentially do damage with that explosion, even with the Energy Accelerator, since Energy Accelerator was deactivated earlier in the season because it was too OP. So if I was doing like a GM and I need an overload, I'll simply switch my Fatebringer to the Frenzy version. And if I'm doing a normal content, I'll switch to the Firefly version because explosions are cool. Now, the best thing about this season is grenade launchers do pretty much everything. So obviously I'm gonna rock my grenade launchers because I love it. But what's better about this season is because grenade launchers, we have all three elements, starting with the Truth Teller, then we got the Salvo to cover Arc, then we got the M2 Vessel to cover Solar. The newest of the grenade launchers is the M2 Vessel, which you can only get from strikes. It took me a while to get this role. I'll still say it's not the best in slot for this role, because if I'm gonna recommend anything, I'll probably say you should go for like blind, auto loading and Vorpal, which I will still be farming for later on today. I'm sure if you watch my stream, you'll see that I probably spent like 6 hours yesterday doing it. But that will probably be the role. Essentially, I want the same role as my Truth Teller, but instead of Demolitionist, I wanted to have Vorpal. Empty Vessel is the only grenade launcher that I will say is better than Truth Teller, because it's the only one out of the three that has both blind and Vorpal. Vorpal allowing you to essentially have the impact of a spike grenade while still having the benefit of being able to blind all your targets that are attacking you. I do not really want to ramp on about blind grenade launchers. I have made a video of my Truth Teller, and I will just tag that above somewhere so that you can see why I go on about it. But due to this season, because I have all three now, it will allow me to do essentially no matter what activity you're doing, whatever elements you're doing, you can simply just pick any. And if you're farming, I'll probably say go with the Fighting Lion. I will probably do an actual video for the Fighting Lion. I keep wanting to do it. I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but TLDR, Fighting Lion is OP. I don't know why people don't use it, but is the OP shit. Obviously, I'm sure there are people that don't feel comfortable using grenade launchers or don't use it as much as I do. And if that is the case, simply switch this grenade launchers to the new fusion rifle that came out this season. The fusion rifle will pretty much allow you to do exactly the same thing I do with my grenade launchers, so it shouldn't be a problem. Obviously, the only difference is compared to grenade launchers, the fusion doesn't have the range aspect, and you also cannot have blind on it. But apart from that, it's pretty much good. Now, Crown Splitter is what makes this build shine, because thanks to Crown Splitter, I can essentially rock my exotic anywhere else. I have two roles for different things. I use my Relentless Strike on Whirlwind Blade to essentially for general use and mainly for boss damage, because by stacking up my Relentless Strike, my Whirlwind Blade gives me free damage with any target. Then I have my Tireless Blade and my Vorpal. This I have it mainly because I want it to be able to use for an instant buff of damage without having to ramp up. So I would say you should go for this role if you're thinking of using it for like champions, because you want that instant burst of like damage from Vorpal. Vorpal does work on champions, and Tireless Blade essentially gives you like some ammo back for doing a heavy attack, which is obviously what you're planning on doing on the champion. So this works for instant damage against champions. This works on instant damage against pretty much any target. That will probably be my two roles of recommendation. And if your target changes, just switch to a rocket launcher. That's as simple as that. And sometimes I'll rock something like I'll switch to my Anarchy for like general use or like raid use. So this build essentially covers everything. By having Crown Splitter, it gives me exotic slot free to kind of switch to whatever I want. by having my 2 kinetic and energy slots taken by legendary. Allows me to switch to whatever exotic I want to switch to. Energy accelerator is definitely needed for Crown Splitter to do what it does, and lucky for you as well, energy accelerator will work if you're using Salvo, so that you can get a bigger explosion against a multiple target. Key thing that people that are new to game, actually also realize is by having weapons that are the same on the same slot, it allows you to essentially keep your ammo. So unless I'm doing like a GM or any activity that locks my gear, I can simply just switch between all 3 of my grenade launcher without essentially losing like ammo by doing so. So if I see a solo target, I can switch my empty Verso. I see too many arcs, I'll switch to my Salvo. Too many void, I'll switch to my Truth Teller without losing the ammo within the transition. In terms of gear wise, the one thing you do need to realize, depending on if you're gonna rock this build, is Salvo is covered by accelerator. You get that increase of explosion and damage due to the accelerator. If you're gonna use Truth Teller, simply switch your mods. I always say there's only like one mod you really need to worry about, and I always put it like on the same slot so that there's no like problem. So I will always put it on my chest. So if I'm doing the Truth Teller, I'll switch to my Warmind Decree. This allows me to make Warmind cells by simply using void weapons. And guess what? Truth Teller is void. And whenever I'm using my solo grenade launcher, I will simply switch back to my Wrath of Rasputin. That is also the reason you should try and get Empty Verso, because when the season is over, Wrath of Rasputin will still be here, allowing you to make Warmind cell with the Empty Verso. It's the only season that you can possibly do this efficiently, so I will probably tell you to go farm for that shit. If you want to anyway. In certain situations, obviously I won't just be able to get over with Thunder Crash. All I have to do is simply switch to my Sentinel and switch to my Chesapeake for Loopy, which as you can see pretty much has the same loadout as my thing and doesn't really change my stats in any way. I still get my full super. Main thing is my super. I don't really care much about everything else apart from my Resilient for my Barricade, but just like that my build is switched. Everything else stays the same. If I want a grenade build, just like that my build is switched. Everything else stays the same, allowing me to throw more grenades. So if, for example, if I'm doing Atheon final boss, this will be the build I'll rock. I'll just do a bubble, I'll do Anarchy, I'll do my sniper, and sort of chuck grenades all day. Sentinel, go. If I want to do Thunder Crash, simply switch back, go. Like, it's a in and out build. It allows me to essentially not change much while keeping everything the same. So my weapons stay the same, allowing me to not think much about it, allowing me to be able to switch on the fly. My supers simply switch it, I might get on the fly without having to like change 1,000 mods, without having to change 1,000 things. There's only one mod I will always change, which is my Warmind Decree to my Rasputin, and I got 2 marks as well. If I'm using a non-sword build, so if I'm using my Anarchy for example, I will use this mark, which just gives me Eye Energy Fire, allowing me to essentially use my Charge Relight build. If I am using a sword, I will simply switch to the next one, so that I can get my Loosen Blade, allowing me to essentially get my heavy attack to charge sooner, which will make my sword more efficient, allowing me to just smack the shit out of everything. I'm sure you guys are getting what I'm talking about. Like this, I feel it's a Swiss Army knife will be the build to describe it. A Swiss Army knife is a build that allows you to do everything on your Titan without changing much. simply change your exotic, change your super, and you're sorted. Same loadout, same everything, nothing has changed whatsoever. Because if I want to change the solar, for example, I usually rock my solar bottom tree, allowing me to do that. Then I'll rock my Amarantharium. If I'm going to use my Feist and Lion, I'll keep my One Mind Decree. If I'm going to use a solo build, I can simply switch my mod. Switch my mod back to the Wrath of Rasputin, allowing me to do solar One Mind Cell. Switch that. That means I'll get both my grenade, my fusion grenade, and my Verso being able to create One Mind Cells, allowing me to be able to clear ads easier while still able to maintain damage. So it's like the build that can essentially fit all roles. Well, hopefully this build was helpful. As always, I will show you like a nice clip at the end to show you how I use my build. I'll just go to a lost sector to essentially allow you to see everything, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully it was helpful. Okay, so I do want to say I was wrong. It's not 1-for-1. Like right now you can see that my grenade launcher has 24 ammo. If I switch, it will have 22 ammo, so it loses 2 bricks. And if I switch again, okay, still 22. Just it takes some ammo, but just not enough for you to actually notice that much, if you get what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it took another 1. So it's not 1-for-1. It's not, it won't just give you the same amount no matter what. But apart from that, it does slaps. So because I currently have the Raffles, the solar mod on, allowing me to make One Mind Cell with solar weapons. If I switch to my Void, then I can make One Mind Cell with my Void weapons. And obviously, Void Show targets gets deleted. And thanks to my sword, pretty much anything in this major boss gets deleted. Oh yeah, also because my sword is Void Slash, it means it will also create One Mind Cells. Ooh, let's catch this guy. Watch out.
I got a bag, bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go run it back. You know that I run it.